Hello everybody. On today's video with Trucking with Shamil, we're going to show y'all some footage of Winter Storm Orlena, Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa. We also going to show you what happens when you don't stop when the roads get bad. Too bad for comfort. But before we get into all that, while you're watching the introduction, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to come join the family. Let's go. Hello everybody. This is Sir Mill with obviously Trucking with Sir Mill. So let's just go ahead and dive into this thing, man. This is US 30 heading westbound. I'm west of Plymouth, Indiana. And as you can see, it's pretty windy. The snow is blowing back in my face. At this point, we've lost the road. We don't know if we're on the road or not. Don't be fooled by how the video looks. We're probably going about 30, 35 right now. I'm the only one going west. It's going to come a point where I'm going to slow down a little more than that. And then at this point, I've made the decision to shut it down at the next truck stop. I knew there was a truck stop coming up. And so at this point, I knew I was done. Like I stated in the previous video, if it came to this point, I had enough time. If I didn't have time, I knew I would be late. I would relay that with, dispatcher company or whatever. At that point, it was unsafe. I didn't feel any safer. It don't matter what another driver doing. It's about me and my comfort level. I normally don't stop. So the fact that I did stop, it was a notion that that's how bad it was. I normally can deal with it pretty good, but it was just too windy, man. They couldn't keep up with it and whatnot. You'll see a few cars trickling here and there going back east and whatnot. So, yeah, like I said, it was bad. At this point, I knew I was done. But this is what I want everybody to understand when they say I want to be an over-the-road truck driver or whatever. If you live in these regions, if you live in Georgia, Florida, and you're never going to travel out of that state, you're going to be local. This don't pertain to you. But it's just something you got to deal with. It'll rattle your nerves, man. And I promise, it seemed like the last 6-7 weeks, man, even if it's just a couple days a week, I've been in bad weather. This snow and stuff been lingering. Ice, man, and it'll mentally get to you. I speak this to you guys. It'll drain you, man. It will. You'll find yourself like, man. And this is where it seems like winter's going out with a bang. The car coming at me with the bright lights on, man. And that's a problem. I'm going to address that in another video. Nobody cares about riding with their bright lights on anymore, man. It tear your eyes up. And we run a lot of nights, so I'm seeing it more and more and more. It happens more and more that people just, hey, as long as I can see, I don't care about nobody else, But this is what you got to deal with. So on the backside of this, I'm going to shut it down. And then we'll see in the next clips what a difference just waiting until the sun comes up can make. Like I said, it was extremely windy. I may have been able to deal with it if it wasn't so windy. But I have been looking at the maps and whatnot and saw how orange the roads were on Google Maps, and I knew I wasn't going no further than the next truck stop. Got me a safe spot. I parked, shut it down. I went to bed, man. And that was that. I slept good. So, This is what I want everybody to understand and think about. And so you'll see right here, there's a light shining on the road from another business. And maybe if this was a road that was lit up, street lights, things like that, I may have been able to deal with it a little better. I could see a little better. But this just wasn't the case on this road. It was the chips were stacked too high against me, and I didn't want to gamble with it, on this night. So I like I said, I made the executive decision to say, hey, I'm gonna shut it down. Luckily I knew there was a truck stop coming up. I said, hey, I just got another 10 minutes or so to make it here. And we're going to go on and take it on the bed, man. And that's what we did. So that was the call that I made to shut that down. And I kind of just stood on that, really. So I knew, like I said, I knew the truck stop was coming up. The storm, I knew the storm was coming. I talked about it in the video. They had been talking about it. Brewing up and coming across here. This was a big system. Like the west end of this system was in Des Moines, Iowa. The east end had tracked over to Ohio. It was going to swirl back up into Minnesota on the northern end. And the southern end, it was down in the southern states. The bottom of the storm was a lot of rain. But where it had got cold up in the northern part, it was snow. I'm coming up on the truck stop now. I know I'm done. It was a welcome sight. It was. I was happy. I was glad to be going in there and shutting it down, parking, whatever. Give me some rest and get up and tackle it on the next day. My goal was to let the state workers get out and get the plows out there and, see what difference will be with the sun up, where I can see a little better, where maybe the wind will die down. It won't be so windy. That was my goal. And just to be as safe as possible. I knew this was an unsafe condition. Even, cruising through this parking lot, you can see how intense the snow is dumping it. When it's that, I think they said at some point it was like 1 inch or 2 inches per hour. When it's dumping it like that and it's windy and it's blowing back in the road, the plows can't keep up with it. Even if they was out, they wasn't really out like that. I feel like on the weekends they don't do what they need to do, but they feel like people are home, school's not in, things like that. But you can still see the intensity of it and what it was doing. So they just can't keep up with it when it's like that. Then they try to play catch up and it just never ends well. So I got me a safe place to park. I called it a night, and I said, we'll try tomorrow, man. We gonna tap out on this one, bow out gracefully. And that's the decisions you got to make out here. Can't nobody drive that truck except for you. Not your kids at home, not your job, not your significant other. Nobody can drive that truck for you because you ultimately got to answer for what goes on out there. So this is the end of it. I dealt with enough of it. I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to bed. This is part of being safe and being a professional driver and being able to make these decisions in the moment on what's safe and what's not and let it be that. So we're going to go to bed and talk about it tomorrow. This is the next day. This ain't bad. This is I-80 westbound in Illinois. This ain't bad. I'm still not really getting into it. I'm not standing there. I ain't going 70, that's for sure. You got a little slush. That slush will get you too. Don't get it twisted. That slush will bite you a little bit. You see that left lane's a little covered. But remember I talked about the blowing snow, right? And everything that gets kicked up. Watch this guy when he passes me. Watch what is he right here? Right here. He loses part of his lane against the left side. He starts coming in my lane because he panicked and lost a little bit of that lane right here. He was already over the line, but he's throwing all that stuff back at me now. Nighttime, people can't see. That's when I talked about people will panic. They'll panic. They'll get in. Let me stop, and then that's when bad things happen. He come over on top of me. It's cool. I let him do what he do. Give him his space. This ain't bad. We could deal with this. Man, I'll take this 7 days a week and twice again on Sunday. I take this. I let him get on out there, do his thing. And you'll notice the further west we get, spots where it'll be good, bad, whatever. But this is I-80 westbound in Iowa. We almost we're in Coralville, almost to the junction where you would get off and go north on 380, where Cedar Rapids goes north. Up here, they got 2 plows out. On his back plow, he got what they call a sled. That back part with the blade can kick sideways, and he can take 2 lanes at the same time. The wheels will kick it sideways. I like those. So this is I-80. Okay then, Iowa. I see you getting out there doing what you do. But this is when we're going to get into see what happens when you drive and the road is bad and you don't stop at night. Make sure you watch the whole video, because we just getting started. Make sure you watch the whole video. It's some clips in here. You don't want to be these drivers that have to call your company, tell them you in the ditch. You don't want to. Look at him. He up in the cable. Them cables done saved a lot of lives. But look at they done tore the hood up. They got to wait on a record, a low, late. Man, you don't want to call your company and tell them that. I don't want you to call your company and tell them that. Make sure you park when the roads is bad. Don't try to be no hero out here. If the company want to deliver that bad and you don't feel safe, they better send somebody to come and get it, man. Look at this car, man. You see the pickups and the SUVs, they'll pass you, they'll do their thing, man. Right here, there was something on the left and the right, and I kind of didn't have a choice. I could see people standing on the right, so I had to kind of go to the left and try to split it a little bit. But you can see where the snow been drifting back in the road. But we got a car that got up in the cables up here on the left. I figured that was abandoned with the tape, so I said, let me take the left. And you see you got people standing in the right lane right there. Recipe for disaster, man. That's how people get hit. That's how people get killed. That's why I said you got to be looking ahead and give them their space. This ain't bad, though. Iowa done showed up and showed out. Now, I'm sure it was a little greasy last night, judging by all these trucks in the ditch. Because, look, we got another little buddy here. He on the eastbound side facing west, and the plow. The plow done went through the cables. The plow ain't got no choice but to be out there, but he done got up in the cables. Oh, and these next two? This is the grand finale right here, man. And it was many more, man. It was a couple UPSs in it. It was many more. But this just to give you the gist of how quickly and how bad it can get in a hurry. Look at these guys. Another one in the cables. Them cables done saved a lot of lives. He facing westbound in the eastbound lanes. Don't be that person that got to call your company and say, I done tore something up. Don't do it. We continue stepping on west out to Nebraska. We made it safely. We made it unharmed. We still made it on time. Safely. I ain't had to push nothing. And guess what? If I was going to be late, all I had to do was call the company and say, hey, I'm going to be late. And they say, all right, we're going to take care of it. We'll let them know. That's simple. Find you a company that cares about your well-being. But more importantly, learn to make the correct choices out here that'll save you from getting in trouble. That will protect your driving career, that will protect the general motoring public, and that'll keep everybody safe. Don't be no hero out here, because ain't nobody getting paid extra for driving in that snow. Ain't nobody getting no badges for making it safely. You ain't doing nothing but getting bragging rights for patting yourself on the back while putting everybody else at risk. Learn to do the right thing out here. And we'll catch everybody next time. Be safe. Make it to your delivery safely. Make it to your pickup on time. Call your family. Tell them you love them. Love on somebody today. But most importantly, as I'm going to leave you with, as I always do, be the reason somebody smiled today. And we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.